Hello, by the programmers. So, in this video, we'll discuss that why array starts at 0 or why any sequence in programming starts from 0. Now, I'm pretty sure that you must have seen these memes all around the internet, and I'm also pretty sure that you must have asked yourself that why array or any sequence start from 0. Usually, the counting is started from 1, so why the counting in array starts from 0. So let's try to understand this concept in the simplest way possible. So first of all, a quick intro of array and why basically array was introduced in programming. So array was introduced in programming for relative addressing. Now what's this complex term? So let's try to understand this with a very simple example. Let's say that you are asked to create a program which works on multiple values. Okay. Now the first approach that you can take is to create multiple variables. Let's say there are 5 values. So you create 5 variables. If there are 4 values, 4 variables, and so on and so forth. So this was the first approach to solve this problem, and this works. Okay, but how about when the value is very large? Let's say we are dealing with 100 or 150 values. Now, will you create 100 variables for this task? This is not programming. This is manual labor. And this is where array or sequential data comes in. So let's say that we have bunch of values. Okay, we have bunch of values, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, these are 6 values and you want to store them in memory. Now the first approach was to create separate variable for each values. The second approach is to pack them inside one variable. Okay, let's say a is equal to this list or this array or this sequential data. So this was just a quick introduction of what array or sequential data is. Now I know I haven't even scratched the surface of this, and this is not the intent of this video. If you want, we can create a separate video for this topic, and this is actually a very huge topic when it comes to C. So we can create a separate video for this topic. Just comment down below. Okay. So now let's come to the topic. Why array starts at 0? Okay. Let's take the same example. Let's say that this is our array and we have stored this in our memory. Now how this array will be stored? Let's say that this is the chunk of memory. This is certain address in our memory. Okay. So this is really bad. Okay. Just a second. This is our memory, and this is where the variables are stored. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. Okay, these are values. Okay, this 1 2 3 4 5 6 is the 1 2 3 4 5 6 values. These are not address. Okay, and this whole chunk of data or whole chunk of values is this a array. Now whenever someone asks for this a array, let's say they want to access the data or they want to add the data, they want to delete the data, whatever they want to do, they just want to access this a array. Now what will happen is whenever they'll ask for this a array, they'll first come to this address. Okay, let's say that this is 100, this is 104, this is 108, this is 112, this is 116, and this is 120. These are the addresses. Okay, the starting is the 100 address and the last is 124. From 124 the next array or the next data element start. Okay, this is the next address. This is our a array. Okay, starting is 100 and the ending is 124. So what happens is whenever someone wants to access this a array, they first come to this address, this 100 address. Now let's say they want to access this one value. Okay, this first element of this array. Remember this term, this is the first element of this array. Now give me the address of this array. Let's say someone comes here and they want to access this element. What is the address that they will provide? They'll provide the same address. So address of array A is equal to 100, right? the starting address or the initial address of array A is 100, and also the address of A0 element is also 100. So can't we say this is also equal to A0? Now, all of this is making sense, right? The first element of the array is also the address of the array itself. So, if you want to access the first element, it is the same address of the array. So, you don't have to travel anywhere. For the value 2, it will be address of A plus 1 unit. Right. Now the value of unit depends on the data type, and the byte size of data type also depends on the architecture of your computer. That's a very different thing. So to access this A2 element, you are moving 1 unit from the starting. Okay. This is the initial point, and you have to go here to access the address of this 2 value. Can't we say that A plus 1 unit is also equal to A0 plus 1 unit? And isn't this A1? Now, are you getting my point or not? This is the starting point. This is where the pointer, now this is the term from C language. This is where the pointer is present when the program wants to access this array. This is where the pointer is. So if it wants to access the first element, this is the address itself. The pointer doesn't have to go anywhere. If it wants to access the second element, it has to travel 1 unit. So A1. Same for the second, same for the third, fourth, and so on and so forth. So if someone asks that why the array starts at 0, the simple answer is the first element of the array is at the array address itself, and whenever the program accesses that array, the pointer is present at the first element only. So you don't have to move anywhere, and this is why the first element of the array is at the 0th position. Okay, so this was a quick explanation of why array starts at 0. Now this was a experimental way of teaching. I'm using a pen tab here. So if you like this way of teaching, just comment down below, and if not, then also, and I'll meet you in my next lecture. Bye bye.